Hey everyone, Dr. Mike here. Today we're walking through the grocery store aisles to tackle a question I get all the time. Organic versus regular food. You see that USDA organic seal on everything from apples to zucchini, and it often comes with a higher price tag. But what are you actually paying for? Let's break it down. In the simplest terms, organic refers to a specific method of farming. It's not just a buzzword, it's a legally defined production system. Organic farming aims to promote ecological balance and conserve biodiversity. This means farmers avoid using most synthetic pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, and GMOs. It's about working with nature, not against it. Think of it like this. Conventional farming is often about maximizing yield and efficiency, sometimes using powerful tools like synthetic pesticides to fight off bugs and weeds. Organic farming, on the other hand, takes a different approach. Instead of synthetic chemicals, an organic farmer might use beneficial insects to control pests, rotate crops to keep the soil healthy and full of nutrients, and use natural fertilizers like compost. The focus is on building a sustainable ecosystem from the ground up. So when you see that organic label on a bunch of carrots, it's a signal about the entire journey that carrot took from the farm to your shopping cart, emphasizing soil health and natural processes. This distinction applies to animal products as well. For meat, poultry, eggs, and dairy products to be labeled organic, the animals must be raised in living conditions that accommodate their natural behaviors. This means they must have access to the outdoors, be fed 100% organic feed and forage, and they cannot be given antibiotics or growth hormones. It's a holistic approach that considers the well-being of the animal as part of the overall system. So, who is the referee in this big game of organic farming? It's not just a free-for-all where anyone can slap an organic sticker on their produce. In the United States, the system is regulated by the federal government, the U.S. Department of Agriculture or USDA. They run the National Organic Program, NOP. The NOP sets strict standards that farms and businesses must follow to sell and label products as organic. That creates a consistent definition of organic across the country. An organic apple in California meets the same standards as one in New York. The USDA doesn't visit every farm. Instead, they authorize third-party certifying agents. These independent organizations are accredited by the USDA to inspect and certify farms. Think of them as the official inspectors. A farmer who wants certification must submit a detailed plan to an agent. The plan outlines the whole operation, starting with soil management. Next, pest control practices. The agent does a thorough on-site inspection to verify compliance with NOP rules. Inspections are annual, not a one-time check. You might also hear about the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, when talking food safety. The FDA ensures the safety of the overall food supply, organic and conventional. For example, the FDA sets allowable pesticide residue limits on foods. The USDA's role is specific, verifying organic claims. FDA and USDA work in parallel to keep the food system safe and transparent. In stores, you'll see different organic label tiers. 100% organic means everything in the product is certified organic. Organic means at least 95% of ingredients are organic. Made with organic ingredients means at least 70% are organic, but it can't use the main USDA organic seal. This is the million-dollar question for many people. If I spend more money on organic food, am I getting more vitamins and minerals? The scientific community has been studying this for years, and the answer, frankly, is not as clear-cut as you might hope. When researchers compare vitamin and mineral content of organic versus conventionally grown produce, differences are often small and inconsistent. Some studies might find slightly higher levels of vitamin C in organic strawberries, while another study finds no difference at all. The consensus right now is there isn't strong evidence that organic foods are significantly more nutritious. The nutritional content of a plant is influenced by many factors beyond the farming method: the variety of the plant, the weather during the growing season, the ripeness at which it was harvested, and how long it sat in storage before you bought it. A super fresh, locally grown conventional tomato picked at peak ripeness might actually be more nutritious than an organic tomato that was picked while still green and shipped across the country. So, focusing solely on the organic label as a marker for superior nutrition might be missing the bigger picture. However, one area where organic produce might have an edge: antioxidants. A major meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Nutrition found organic crops had, on average, higher concentrations of certain antioxidants, specifically, compounds like polyphenols. The theory is that without synthetic pesticides, plants produce more of their own defense compounds, which happen to be these beneficial antioxidants. While this is an interesting finding, it's still an area of active research, and we don't yet know if these modest increases translate into measurable long-term health benefits for people. The most important thing for your health is to eat a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, period. Whether you choose organic or conventional, filling your plate with colorful produce is the single best nutritional decision you can make. An apple a day is great, whether it's organic or not. While the nutritional debate is ongoing, the conversation around pesticides is much more defined. This is one of the primary reasons many people choose to buy organic. By definition, organic farming prohibits the use of most synthetic pesticides. Conventional agriculture, in contrast, often relies on these chemicals to protect crops from insects, weeds, diseases, leading to higher yields. The result is that conventionally grown produce is more likely to have detectable levels of pesticide residues. The USDA's pesticide data program consistently finds that organic foods have far lower levels of these residues compared to conventional foods. Now, it's crucial to add some context here, and this is where the FDA's role is so important. The FDA and the Environmental Protection Agency work together to set strict tolerance levels for pesticide residues on all foods sold in the United States. These levels are set far below the point at which the chemicals are known to cause any harm in animal studies. The vast majority of conventional produce on the market falls well within these legal safety limits. So, regulators and many scientists will tell you that the low levels of residues found on conventional produce are not a cause for concern for the average consumer. However, the debate isn't just about whether the residue levels are legal, but whether any level of exposure is desirable, especially over a lifetime. Some people, particularly parents of young children, pregnant women, choose organic to minimize this exposure as much as possible. The precautionary principle is the idea here. If there's a potential for risk, even a small one, it's better to avoid it if you can. Certain studies have suggested potential links between long-term, low-level pesticide exposure and health issues, but proving a direct cause and effect relationship is incredibly difficult. This is an area where personal choice and comfort level play a huge role. It's also a myth that organic farms use no pesticides at all. They are allowed to use certain pesticides, but they must be derived from natural sources. While these are generally considered less persistent in the environment than many synthetic alternatives, they are not entirely benign. For consumers, the choice comes down to this. Conventional produce has a higher likelihood of containing synthetic pesticide residues within legal limits. Organic produce has a much lower likelihood, but is not necessarily pesticide-free. Beyond pesticides, the organic rules also have a big impact on what happens after the food is harvested, especially with processed foods, animal products. When you look at the ingredient list of a processed food, like a cookie, or a frozen meal, the organic version will be noticeably different. Organic regulations prohibit the use of artificial preservatives, colors, flavors. So, if you're comparing organic crackers to conventional ones, you won't find things like butylated hydroxytoluene or BHT, or artificial dyes like yellow number 5. This is a clear-cut difference that many consumers value. This is particularly significant in the world of animal agriculture. One of the cornerstones of organic livestock farming is the prohibition of antibiotics for growth promotion, or routine disease prevention. In conventional farming, it's common practice to give animals low doses of antibiotics throughout their lives to make them grow faster, and prevent illnesses in crowded living conditions. This practice is a major contributor to the growing problem of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which is a serious public health threat. When you choose organic meat or organic dairy, you are supporting a system that does not contribute to this problem in the same way. If an animal on an organic farm does get sick and needs antibiotics to be treated, it can be given the medicine. However, once treated, that animal and its products can no longer be sold as organic. This ensures the integrity of the label. Similarly, the use of synthetic growth hormones like RBGH in dairy cows to increase milk production is completely banned in organic farming. While the FDA has deemed these hormones safe, some consumers prefer to avoid them. Choosing organic is a guaranteed way to do so. This is less about nutrition and more about the broader implications for animal welfare. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the price. There's no denying that organic food almost always costs more than its conventional equivalent. You can see it right there in the grocery store. The organic bananas are 30 cents more per pound. The organic chicken breast is several dollars more. This price difference isn't a marketing gimmick, it reflects the very real higher costs associated with organic farming. These farms are often smaller and don't benefit from the same economies of scale as massive conventional operations. They are simply more expensive to run, and that cost is passed on to the consumer. One of the biggest factors is labor. Organic farming is much more labor-intensive. Instead of simply spraying a field with a synthetic herbicide to kill weeds, an organic farmer might have to hire a crew to remove those weeds by hand, or use more complex and time-consuming techniques like cover cropping. Pest control without synthetic chemicals also requires more hands-on management and monitoring. Furthermore, the organic certification process itself costs money. Farmers have to pay for the inspection and certification each year, which adds another layer of expense to their operation. Yield is another critical piece of the puzzle. Conventional farming methods, with their powerful synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, are designed to maximize the amount of food produced per acre. Organic farms on their own often have lower yields. A study might show an organic farm produces 20% less corn per acre than a neighboring conventional farm. This means the farmer has less product to sell from the same amount of land, so they need to charge more per item to make a living. Additionally, organic feed for animals costs significantly more than conventional feed, which directly drives up the price of organic meat, organic eggs, and organic dairy. Finally, the supply chain for organic food is less developed. There are separate processing facilities, distribution networks, and storage requirements to prevent cross-contamination with conventional foods. We've looked at the regulations, the nutrition, the pesticides. Now it's time to put it all together and answer the big question. Is an organic diet truly a healthier diet? From my perspective as a physician, the answer is nuanced. If we define healthier strictly as providing more vitamins and minerals, then the current scientific evidence does not support that organic is superior. Nutritional differences are minimal and inconsistent. You will not become healthier simply by swapping a conventional apple for an organic one if the rest of your diet remains the same. However, if we broaden healthier to include minimizing exposure to synthetic chemicals, the argument for organic becomes much stronger. Choosing organic reduces your intake of synthetic pesticide residues. Regulatory bodies consider conventional levels safe, but many people find peace of mind avoiding them, especially vulnerable groups like children. The same goes for avoiding artificial additives, growth hormones, routine use of antibiotics, and animal products. These are tangible differences that could have long-term health implications we don't fully understand yet. Consider environmental health. It's linked to our health. Organic farming tends to be more sustainable. They improve soil health, use less energy, reduce nitrogen pollution that can contaminate groundwater. A healthier planet with cleaner water and more fertile soil is better for human health in the long run. Buying organic can be a vote for a more environmentally friendly agricultural system. This benefit extends beyond your dinner plate. My final take: the foundation of a healthy diet is an abundance of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins. The most important decision at the grocery store is filling your cart with these whole foods. Okay, so you're standing in the produce aisle trying to make the best choice without breaking the bank. How do you decide when to splurge on organic and when to save your money? A very practical tool many people use is the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 list, published each year by the Environmental Working Group. This isn't a government list, but it's based on analysis of the USDA's own pesticide residue data. The Dirty Dozen lists the 12 conventional produce items with the highest pesticide residues: strawberries, spinach, kale, nectarines, apples. These are often thin-skinned fruits and vegetables where you eat the skin, making them more likely to retain residues. If your budget is limited, focusing your organic dollars on these items is a smart strategy. The Clean 15 identifies conventional produce with the lowest pesticide levels: avocados, sweet corn, pineapples, onions, cantaloupe. For these items, you can feel more confident saving your money and buying conventional. If your kids drink a glass of milk every single day, you might decide that buying organic milk is a worthwhile investment. Eggs, yogurt, chicken. For items you eat frequently, the cumulative exposure to any unwanted substances is higher, so choosing organic for these products can have a bigger impact over time. It's about being strategic with your spending. Another great tip is to look for store brands. Many grocery chains now have their own line of organic products, which are often significantly cheaper than national brands. You're still getting a product that meets the same strict USDA organic standards, but at a more accessible price point. Also, don't forget the frozen aisle. Frozen organic fruits and vegetables are just as nutritious as fresh, often frozen at peak ripeness, and are often much more affordable. So after all this, what's the bottom line? Let's clear away the confusion. Eat more fruits and vegetables. A diet rich in produce has huge proven benefits, much bigger than the organic versus conventional debate. Not eating enough produce is riskier than tiny pesticide residues. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Fill your plate with color. Choosing organic reduces exposure to synthetic pesticides. It also avoids antibiotics and growth hormones in animal products. If you can, especially with kids, make strategic organic choices. Use tools like the Dirty Dozen list. It's a valid choice that gives many people peace of mind. Buying organic can support farming practices that are better for the environment. However, it is not a magic bullet. Organic junk food is still junk food. An organic cookie full of sugar and organic palm oil isn't healthy. The organic label doesn't automatically mean nutritious. Read the nutrition facts, read the ingredient list, focus on whole unprocessed foods, limit sugar, limit sodium, limit unhealthy fats. Don't let a halo of organic marketing distract you from fundamentals. You can build an incredibly healthy diet with or without organic food. Be a smart, informed shopper. Stay healthy.